So the pot is on and it's definitely going to be needed as we've got a big job ahead of us today. Okay, so you've seen a few videos with my stash, but it has been getting worse and worse and worse. Especially this zone here, which has become a complete dumping zone. So today the plan is to try and make some sense of this all. This is our slightly tidier space. And when you thought it was bad from where I showed you before, you can actually see from here that that stash of mess goes all the way back. I think I've got a little carried away with buying more fabric than I'm sewing up, even though we are doing a project every week and we are getting through it. We've still got tons and tons and tons of fabric to go, as well as every other craft that we collect and do. LOL, not really. We have just put it all on the floor. So this is our next pile to sort out. Because the counter is meant to look like this. The benches cleared. It's not 100%. The fabrics are in boxes, and then our slightly tidier wall is also still nicely done and nice and tidy. Yeah, so it's not 100%, but it definitely is a lot better. And at least now we've got back to having our cutting bench and tools accessible. And most places seem to have a space again and can be accessed. Even though there's a few things that have to be moved to get to the sewing machine, most things only involve moving 1 or 2 items. This is our sewing corner, and although there's quite a bit still in there, it is still all on wheels. So all we have to do is back the car out, get that out, and we can start using it, because these are some of the projects that we want to get to first. But it's definitely a lot better, definitely more accessible, feels tidier. Like I said, still some things will have to be moved around to actually do a project. So as our tables are behind the knitting machine anyway, we are used to having to get things out and rearrange, and it taking about a half an hour to set up and pack down anyway. But at least now when we're doing that, we're actually pulling things out that we're using, not having to just rearrange and move things because we've got fabrics in the way that we're not using yet. So we're definitely a lot happier with that. We'll need to stop buying fabrics for a little while, which is definitely a hard thing for me to do. If you have any suggestions on other ways to store things, then let me know. I'd love to know how you store all your fabrics and yarn. The boxes up the top, we've got the yarn in because it's lighter, and then the boxes that are right on the bottom row have got our fabrics in it because they're heavy. We have some more fabrics here that you can see. Again, these are all in wheelie bins so that we can wheel them in and out as we need them. They are a bit heavy, but we found if we go 3 high, we can kind of manage them. So we do have some smaller boxes of fabric up the top there. They are accessible as far as they're not too heavy, but the lids on them do make them difficult to get on and off when they are full, which I'll be honest, currently they are. Need to kind of maybe rethink that idea or just use up some fabric. So we actually got this from the local hardware store. It's designed to hold like nails and screws. but for us it actually holds buttons and flowers and ephemeras, so that's pretty cool. It's another little neat storage idea that we've had to use. So then behind the tool caddy and our current project boxes, we have a library that is covered in craft books, everything knitting, sewing, quilting, crochet, pretty much anything. This cupboard set and drawers is our old kitchen. You can see we've actually got these still on wheels though, and that is so when we want to rearrange and move things we can. Everything we've kept on wheels so we can wheel things in and out, move it around. It takes a half an hour to probably set up to do a project in here and probably a half an hour to pack it down, which is a little bit irritating at times, but it means that we have still got a garage that we can bring the car in at night time. There's still way too much stuff in here.
Yeah, we need a cull.
We need to use a lot of projects and probably cull some items, because even as you can see there, the loom, one of the looms is covered in things. Currently nobody is weaving, so that's probably our biggest problem, is if anybody wants to do a weaving project, both of our big looms are actually not really accessible at this stage. The knitting machine is pretty accessible, we just have to take the cover off, which we've just done now. So that's a great one to be able to use up some wool and do some projects. I personally don't know how to use a knitting machine yet, but pretty keen to learn, so hopefully Mum can teach me maybe a project this year on the knitting machine and we can show you and we can learn together. So Mum was just saying to me that in the cardboard box you can see here at the top of the screen that is actually another knitting machine, and then right in the right hand corner there's actually a carding machine. So this is all things that my mum really enjoys doing. She's actually carded, spun and weaved her own pieces of fabric before, which I think the very first project I did, I put in a picture of a bag that was gold that mum had actually woven that fabric. So now that it's the end of the night and this has been a big day, it's taken us all day to tidy. Even though we haven't gone even through everything. Thank you for joining us today on our big adventure of tidying. And yeah, we'll get on to a new project tomorrow. Thanks for watching.